Dude, I never want to come to this class. It's
He's
just
15
so boring.
If he's 15 minutes late, we can all leave.
All right, shut up. Demerit for you. I'm seeing you both after class. I'm not late. The class starts when I get here, and guess what? You and you were in class. So, I'm your esteemed professor, back at it again for another entertaining lecture. It's going to be on the final. It's a cumulative exam, and that's just how it is.
Can you imagine if he actually gave us like tests? Like after I'd be like, oh,
you give it a couple months. Give it a couple months. We'll see how this format progresses. So I'm joined today by youtube.com/Will Stetson.
Hi.
The CEO of But Sir.
But sir.
And today we're gonna learn about. Say it with me.
HOLOLIVE.
HOLOLIVE.
But sir, we're sleeping.
What is HOLOLIVE, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. What is HOLOLIVE?
What
you
is
ask?
HOLOLIVE?
What is HOLOLIVE?
Oh, I'm
Oh
glad
my
you
God.
asked. HOLOLIVE is a company that runs VTubers. I know you.
What is
and you.
VTubers?
I'm glad you asked. Imagine, if you will, a tuber,
I am Will.
A
but
tube.
virtual.
Whoa.
That is a virtual tuber. They are YouTubers, but as opposed to being a person sitting with their face cam around, they are actually represented in live 2D with a moving avatar. It's pretty high tech. This is my TA.
TA, bars or no bars? Bars. Bars. Straight bars. Straight bars.
Now, it all starts at the beginning. How far in the beginning?
How far in the beginning?
The beginning.
The beginning.
It all starts with a little name you may have heard of, may have not, called Kizuna Ai.
I have.
Kizuna Ai was it's a fictional person, right? It wasn't, Kizuna is not a real person. It was a character that they made in 3D modeling software, and they just had her do essentially skits, right? She was this character that would be on YouTube, and they would run these like 5 to 7 minute television skits essentially, where it would just run and do these sorts of comedy shows, right? And she would just do and make these lame jokes, and people loved her though because she looked like an anime character. And what did the Japanese love?
Anime.
Anime! So she took off pretty soon. Move a couple years later, there's this company called Niji Sanji. And what do? They make the software. It's called. It contours to your face. You may have seen it with like a corgi or like a dog, or they made these things essentially it was use your phone, right?
Like deepfake technology.
Yeah, exactly. It mapped your face, and with this technology, it would just you could animate it to something. And to help prove their concept, they had a bunch of things, right? They had the dog. As a lot of people
Corgis.
say. They had corgis, CEO. But to help prove the concept of this technology, they also had anime girls. And they did it, they just had this little side project, right? But the Japanese love, what?
Anime
Anime girls! So this side project took off, and Niji Sanji went, wait, there's money here. And soon, they launched this whole tech. So, Kizuna Ai, like I said, it was a full 3D model, and the actress, the girl who played it, she had to get into like a mocap suit, right? Like, it would be performed live with a person in mocap. All you need is a phone and someone sitting just at their computer. And it is not a 3D avatar, it's a 2D one, but it would map right onto you. And with that technology, it became real easy to be a VTuber. All you needed was a half-decent camera. You usually carry one in your pockets nowadays. And you need someone to like draw an avatar for you. But you got those two things, you're set. You can be anime too, even you.
I can be anime?
You can be anime.
Tell me more.
Brings us to HOLOLIVE. HOLOLIVE is not related to Niji Sanji, it is its own company. But HOLOLIVE was a company that sort of just employed these girls to be VTubers. And as opposed to what Kizuna Ai was doing, where Kizuna Ai ran a bunch of different skits in their variety shows that were just a couple minutes long. They were just like things that you would see on popular Japanese television, just like little gags and whatnot, right? HOLOLIVE embraced the culture that it was seeing with this budding technology, and instead started a whole platoon, this whole army of virtual live streamers. And this is where the meta really changed, right? You didn't have anymore these just pre-canned shows with writers, and Kizuna was very much a character, right? Kizuna was written to, it was written to be like just this girl, okay?
Mm.
But the HOLOLIVE people, they just are streamers. They will stream for hours every day, just playing games, doing what any other random streamer you'll find on Twitch or YouTube does. Only difference is that they're an anime girl. That's one difference. Second difference is that their marketing, genius, through the roof, unbelievably smart, especially for their demographic. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And third ties into the second point, and it's that they really understand, or rather, the existence of HOLOLIVE, the existence of YouTubers, really speaks to something in the Japanese demographic that I'll talk about here. But first thing I want to touch on a little bit, now that we understand what these are, they're girls who just sit in front of their computers, and they have these anime avatars, and they use it to live stream. That's what YouTubers are. But the marketing is genius. They take after the HOLOLIVE is ostensibly an idol agency. In the Far East, they have the concept of an idol is very different from it is like a pop idol in the West. Idols are usually these groups of girls, young girls, ages like 15 to 22, who are like these incredibly like picturesque stereotypes, right? They'll be very pretty and very pure, and they're not allowed to date people and all this shit, and they're well beloved. Like people spend their livelihoods getting into idols. Right, and while HOLOLIVE is essentially an idol agency, none of the girls' identities need to be known. Like, no one knows who any of these people are. And they don't need to know, because the character is all that matters. And people go rabid over this sort of fan base, because they're leaning into not only being popular the way a streamer is, but being popular the way these crazy Japanese and Korean pop idols are, which is one genius thing about the market. But the other thing I really want to talk about is why specifically virtual streamers, virtual YouTubers are so popular and how it took off so much in Japan. So Japan, pretty different place from America. What do they love?
Anime.
Love anime. But that's not what makes them so strange. Japan, their culture, their normal societal culture is quite different in many ways, but in particular, their social standards are very different. A lot of the Japanese see social interaction almost as like bothersome, because everyone is expected, beyond just normal manners that people have, that we have. The Japanese ideal, you are supposed to be very prim and proper. You were not supposed to impose ever on people. There's a very heavy cultural stigmata that this idea of social interaction is almost bothersome. It's almost a burden, right? And this all can stem back to this idea of the Japanese idea of the Yamato Nadeshiko. Yamato just is an old word that referred to Japan itself, and Nadeshiko is this kind of very beautiful flower. So the Japanese flower, it is this idea that specifically this applies to girls, where girls are supposed to be very docile, very prim, very cute, very unoffensive, very understanding, very submissive, and this is like a heavy cultural stigma, and it's been this way for go back like before the war, right? And when you apply this to the girls of the country, when you think about how people are supposed to, it's a stereotype almost, but the very apologetic nature of the Japanese, people like that, also is just because the culture is so deep rooted. Now, why does this matter? Why do I talk about this at all? Well, on the one hand, this leads to a very bad thing, which is hikikomoriism, where it's just there's been a very large uptick in the past decade of people becoming just shut-ins in Japan. They just faced with the incredible pressures that society puts onto them to fit into these boxes and to be this very specific way, to be very good and proper and prim in this strict definition. There's been a lot of people that just shut out. Japan has seen a huge uptick of people who don't work, they don't go to school, they just can't do it. They literally quit on society entirely.
How do they survive? Do they just live off their parents? Or
Yeah, a lot of them, it's a mixture of the Japanese welfare system and that a lot of their parents just keep them up.
Jesus.
They prop them up. They don't live good lives, but they stay alive,
Yeah.
which is all they need. You can tie this back into Japan's declining birth rate. is this sense of hikikomoriism. And a lot of the popular Japanese anime has actually been, throughout the past decade, has been this sort of more just vaguely pleasant sort of things. You see like the rise of moe and iyashike as genres that are adhering to these people who are really just kind of starved, right? And starved for the sense of normalcy, starved for the sense of common interaction, which goes back to that social work. So why talk about this at all? I thought I was talking about anime girls on YouTube. Well, I am. And it's because the reason that this has taken off so much, especially in Japan, is because of this. Because think about the way you or I interface with the internet, right? Maybe not so much youtube.com/BillStetson, since your screen name is youtube.com/BillStetson.
It really is.
But
just my name.
I have a YouTube channel. Its name is Breadbox. I very frequently put my name out there. It's not at all hard to find out. My name is David Toth. But it's a different sort of identity that you can create for yourself, right? Of course, the way I act in my YouTube videos isn't exactly the way I'm acting off the cuff in day-to-day life. The CEO of But Sir is not the same mask that you're wearing when you go around to the supermarket, per se. The VTuber ideal has let people really assume it's taken that to the next level, right? When you go on the internet, you can make a screen name, right? And you can become different the way you act. This is literally taking the step further of you are completely a whole different identity, and given this this sort of shield of complete anonymity, both on the side of the streamers and the people watching, it has really changed a lot of Japanese pop culture. By that I mean like these people who feel very much like they have to fit into a box. They can't be overly expressive. They need to be the way it is. Can suddenly act however they want, because when you're done streaming, no one knows it was you. You're not going to go out down the street and have the neighbor talking about how their neighbor is a degen. People who, and on the count, that's account of the girls, right? You can see actually if you look back, Niji-Sanji has some VTubers, HOLOLIVE some VTubers, right? A lot of them start with this sort of character, right? They'll start with this character design. They'll start with like a general like performance they're putting on, right? But being a live streamer, it is very hard to perform an act for hours and hours on end, right? Obviously, the harder the act it is, the harder it would be. So over time, you've seen this push towards authenticity, where that's completely organic. It's not the company saying anything. It's just that it is really hard to be on camera for hours and hours and hours and not just kind of become yourself. But that's okay, because people love it. Because you don't get to be yourself, because you're not supposed to be yourself. So on the count of the streamers, there's been this amazing thing where a lot of the streamers, I have some names here, doesn't really matter, that are incredibly vulgar. A lot of the most popular VTubers are really, really vulgar young ladies. Like they'll frequently talk about like, just like the porn they love, or like their fetishes, or like being a mess of a human. And it's cool because you can. Because unlike on your day-to-day, unlike when you're hanging out with your friends at the cafe, unlike when you're at home with your mother and father, no one's gonna know. And in fact, the viewers love it. They eat it up because they want something more. When you go back to what I was saying about some of the problems of Japanese society, right? What do a lot of these people want? They want a sort of stronger, authentic connection that they can't get because of the way they feel they're caught in the cycle, right? And that's why I said a lot of the anime a lot of the Japanese anime that became popular during this period was just really fluffy, friendly stuff. It was because it sort of simulated this sort of parasocial bond where you don't get to see people. You don't get to be yourself. You don't get to see people that have your interests, but you can pretend. Well, this is a whole different level. Because these are real people. They're not talking to you specifically per se, but they're real. The things they're talking about are real. When they talk about how Hato just loves feet, it's real, like it or not. You might not want it to be real, but it is real. And people bask in it. The huge uptick has been because these people have really been creating this sort of cultural shift. where it is okay and valued, desired to be yourself. For example, there was a Nijisanji VTuber who her character was just kind of, I am a cute girl, flowery girl, right? And one time, when she was playing Grand Theft Auto, she just cracked. I was like, I hate this. I hate acting like this. It's really tiresome, really troublesome. I hate it. And at that point, Nijisanji was like, well, you screwed up anyway. I guess just do whatever. It's not like people are not going to know now that you don't like it. But when she did, she suddenly became money grubbing and very vulgar, and she would scream, get really mad. People loved it. People loved it. People loved as she bolts around on the street being like, please give me money. I love the dollar. People love it.
So what you're saying is, I should do this.
What I'm saying, youtube.com/Bill Stetson, is it wouldn't be the worst idea you've ever had. And that's how you get some of the most popular things, being like, at HOLOLIVE, there's one of the most popular things is the fact that I'm sure you can find on YouTube with little effort, it's incredibly popular of people playing GTA 5 and saying the N-word during the lore cutscene because they don't know any better. There's popular VTubers in HOLOLIVE that just swear at you all the time. And it's not even so much that, it's not like they're a bunch of masochists, right? It's not like it's not specifically that it's like, treat me badly, or like, be a bad human being. But it's being genuine. It's that you can be genuine. That has made HOLOLIVE become so popular. And you can really see it when you look at the impact it's made, right? Both in Japanese society, where it really seems like, with the way all this is going, and with the companies embracing it too. It's not like they're telling them, no, don't be like that. You, stop talking about feet. They don't care. Go wild. They're making money. They make crazy money. Yeah. And one could look at it in a way that is, one could look at it saying that it is not ideal, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of the money that comes in is still built off the backs of these people who have very strained social relationships. And one could make the very valid argument that presenting this stronger parasocial bond than even the things they consumed before is not going to help these people get back out there. And that's a perfectly valid argument. But it is definitely a step towards making it more apparent, making it more surface, that you probably should just live however you want, which is an important thing, I'd say.
Is HOLOLIVE a place that they stream, or is it like a management agency?
It's a management agency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so HOLOLIVE will outfit the girls with the technology they need. They don't have to draw their character or anything, right? They'll present them a character. They'll give them technology. Something that they do, like I said, when Nijisanji came around, it shifted not towards like mocap 3D, but like 2D with cameras. Mm-hmm. But in certain events, it is a pretty big deal. They will do the mocap stuff, and HOLOLIVE is upfronting the mocap technology. And then it's just that they're a member of this agency, right? If they do group things, they have to participate, and when the income comes in, the company, of course, takes their cut.
Yeah.
But they do allow a fair degree of freedom. Now there is some, even then, HOLOLIVE is still a Japanese company. There is still some stuff like, a recent example that happened quite recently is the HOLOLIVE just rolled out a new batch of idols, of like VTuber girls, like 5 more, right? And one of them accidentally leaked their like model, their like 2D picture thing a little early, and she had to apologize and got suspended for 2 weeks, which seems a little excessive.
A tiny bit.
But and then but there are, every now and again, there are definitely some stories that are just kind of, oh Japan, but
Japan.
Classic Japan move. But it is, generally speaking, it is pushing towards, in this weird kind of progressive direction that also sort of takes the avatar idea, the screen name idea, and obfuscates it even more. You really can just become an entirely different human being in the presence of this technology. And to a lot of people watching, there really isn't anything that says that these people are any less real, that the face they up front is any less genuine than anything else. And you really see this in the way that the fans eat it up, right? I would say that back in maybe the early aughts, mid to early aughts, there was a phase of the Japanese internet in which Japan was like rabid. The Nico Dogo culture that loved things like Toho and all that stuff, all the fan content that came out of the early 2000s. And you're seeing that kind of thing up front again. They speak Japanese, right? There's a couple that speak some English, right? But they mostly speak Japanese. But yet there's a wild fan base, even in the West. How is that possible? Well, it's because there's crazy people that just translate almost everything. They'll watch and they speak Japanese. And anytime anything funny happens, they clip it and they go to translate. And there's people that thrive off just this. There are these whole communities that are creating things and doing these whole wildly creative, like, where did you even get these skills? Why are you applying them to this? Things. And that is just people having a genuine passion. And it's all for authenticity, which I'm all for.
Is there a little bit of like fetishizing?
Oh, definitely.
The fans?
There's
Japan
a little
is like
bit.
one of the most sexually repressed countries in the world. That's
little
definitely
bit.
a huge part of it.
Is a grand understatement. There definitely is a lot of simping. There's this person, Matsuri, on her birthday, she in the course of about a half hour earned 2 million yen in super chats.
Alas, the roadblock again. I am not a cute
And
anime
that's like
woman.
200. And
You
that's
can
like,
become one.
I guess I could.
yeah, 2 million yen is a lot.
It's like
of
20 grand,
money.
I
It's like
believe.
20 grand. Yes.
Wow.
Half
There
an hour.
definitely is a strong simping element at play here, but
This is what I
that is
mean.
actually always that sort of rabid fanaticism has always been the case. In Japan, it's very common for the anime industry is kind of crippled, and it only like barely lives on life support.
Really?
Yes, the anime industry is like constantly running in the red. The only way the anime industry like stays afloat is the fact that it literally lives on whales. It's like gacha. Blu-rays in Japan, like 4 seasons of anime, very common for them to be like 500 USD. Because because mass market appeal, a lot of anime does not really have, like, generally speaking, mass market appeal. It literally thrives off this against the people who just like leech and rely off of it. Which is why the Blu-rays are like unbelievably expensive, and that's how it's always been. And when you take that culture, that same sort of people who are like, yes, I will gladly spend 500 USD on 13 episodes of animated television, and you go, here's the live streamer who talks about how she loves feet. That's how the paychecks go to this, and that's how you get 2 million yen on your birthday.
How many of these streamers are male anime figures?
So HOLOLIVE has a subgroup called Holo Stars, which is a group of only men. But while the HOLOLIVE VTubers, the girls, will have very, normally, maybe 300 to 600,000 subscribers, the boys will have 50,000 subscribers, which, there definitely is an extreme element of wish fulfillment thing going on. There definitely, I don't have the demographic data. I hope to never have the demographic data, but it's probably like 95.5 men.
Yeah.
I could say that fairly certainly. But I do think it's a good thing for Japan and the culture.
Oh, for sure.
I definitely think that it's a positive step. The Japanese are very traditional. They're very stuck in the boxes they build around themselves.
Too rigid.
And all this is like the slightest toe touch outside of those boxes. It's for the best. This is the CEO of HOLOLIVE. Just if you were wondering who this strange
What is the
strange
crown
man
around
is.
the bottom of his neck?
Oh, this is a common mimetic illustration of this man. And one of the VTubers I don't even remember why, but on a stream, she took his head, like this head that is like very common, and they just drew like these are legs and hands. And she drew her CEO as this weird nightmare creature And this exact image that you drew with the arms and legs is quite popular because it is.
I see. This is interesting for sure. Now, how do I take all of their marketing practices and apply it to myself and blow up?
Be a girl.
Shit.
Step 1, be a
Seem to
girl.
have hit a roadblock.
Or else you'll be a hollow star and go back down to 50,000.
Fuck, I'm about to lose half my subs, man. This is a problem.
I call them as I see them.
Oh, unlucky.
Yeah, but that about sums up this this very interesting little stunt into the culture. This is a HOLOLIVE t-shirt. I bought it. Because it's cool. It's actually not cool. I bought it for the meme. But
Hey, it's a nice color.
as one does. It is a nice color.
It's almost like I'm wearing the exact same color right now.
It really is. youtube.com/BillStetson. So, any questions before I let you go a little early? On to your next class.
I don't think so. No, but sir.
Get us the fuck out of here.
All right, you
End class early.
All right, you miscreants. Get your homework on the way out, and simp to a VTuber. That's your homework.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. I'll catch you all kids next time.
Okay.
Stay out of trouble.
Oh, thank God he's gone.